When it comes to growing and building your authority on social media, community will be a big part of your growth and success. But in the changing landscape of social media, going from long form to short form to live stream to all the different mechanics of growing and building, my question today is, are you actually building a community through your social media, or do you have an audience? Today, we're going to be talking about how to turn your audience into a thriving and engaged community. So if this sounds like a topic you're interested in, do consider sticking around. But if you are new to me, welcome. My name is Janine. I'm a live video marketing coach, the founder of Boss It Live, known in the digital streets as Video for Bosses. For Bosses, can't even speak today. And I help ambitious entrepreneurs who have been afraid to show up, be visible on camera or go live, and turn their fear into confidence as they build their brand authority and their own communities on social media. So I'm excited to have this conversation with yourselves today. But before I go any further, let me just check on the old sound quality. And as you're dabbing in, do let me know where you are joining in from today. I'm a little bit late, I have to admit. Don't worry, I'll timestamp this for those of you who come back on the replay. A bit late today. Got a new microphone. Had to and it just went wrong. Let's have a look. Yes. I can hear myself, see myself clearly. Coming in, a bit tepid on the old sonic boom, but I know this because I got myself a second device. Anyway, how are you all doing today? I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for joining. Had a comment from Kashini yesterday. Kashini was like, I'll wait for this today. It's going to be a good one. Thank you so much for being here as well, Kashini. It's so good to see you. And those of you that will join me on the live, how have you actually been? Like I said, I will timestamp this. So for those of you that do come back on the replay, you can skip forward. But I like to welcome some of you as you are coming in. And also, especially as there are a number of you who are new, thank you so much for subscribing and becoming a part of the Video for Bosses family. I go live every single Wednesday here on YouTube at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 7 p.m. UK time. Wasn't here last week, unfortunately, because I wasn't very well, but I'm back. I'm back full kilter, ready to go. And I wanted to have this conversation with you because I think this is something that is a beneficial discussion to have, especially as we are seeing social media, the landscape changing very, very quickly. A lot of business owners and content creators are saying that they have communities. You'll hear that. It's almost like it's a buzzword, right? Oh, my community. But my question is, do you have a community or do you have an audience? Do you think you have a community and it is just an audience, or do you actually have a thriving, engaged community like today's topic is, the title is of this video today? And it's important to know the difference. And I understand that on a literal sense, yes, of course, you understand what an audience is. Yes, you understand. Or let me just conclude myself here. Let me not just leave myself out. We understand what audiences are, and we also understand the community. But I do think the lines are very much blurred for a lot of people. And I want to make sure that we are dotting all our I's and crossing all our T's to make sure that we really are intentional with building community. Now, one of the things that I'm going to say, because a lot of people try to come for my neck, like, who are you to talk about anything? You haven't got many people on your live streams. You don't have many followers. And this is the thing. We get so caught up on the actual number going viral, and being successful is equated to having this going wide, when actually that's not the case at all. A thriving, active community doesn't have to be one that is filled with hundreds, tens of thousands of people. It doesn't have to be. It's about having that core collective who come together with a common interest, and you, alongside the community, you help to build the community around this common theme, which obviously is, if you're a business owner, it's going to be connected to whatever your area of expertise is, your interests, etc., what you're coaching on. But also it's got to be about bringing people together and fostering relationships. And I want to ask those of you that are here, live or via the replay, what does community mean to you? Now I've gone and jumped ahead. That was my question of the day. But let me know if you yourself can share an example of a creator, a content creator who does community very well. And as Kashini has said in the comments, the number does not matter. Absolutely 1000%. It's not about quantity, it's about quality. And so we need to make sure that as we navigate and continue to go forward this year, that we are fostering relationships. Now, who am I to talk about this and to say I'm an expert or I can have a position to advise anybody about community? Well, some of you will know, and some of you may not know, that I've successfully built and grown community over the years. I built my very first community, which was called Women of Worth. Susan used to be a part of the WOW community. And the Women of Worth community was built upon and was inspired by a campaign for L'Oreal. Let me know, hand up emoji, if you heard me share this story before. But I was inspired by the L'Oreal campaign called Women of Worth, which was all about helping women to show up or be celebrated, not because of how they looked, because back then it was all about the Woman Crush Wednesday, Man Crush Monday. Let me know if any of you remember that was big in the game on Instagram back in the day. Show me age in these social media streets. But there was this whole thing about we are typically celebrating women for what they look like, but L'Oreal was rewarding and highlighting women who were doing things within their community. I see your hand up, Kashini. And so I loved this whole ethos. I loved the campaign. And so I created my own version of Women of Worth. And obviously, myself being a live streamer, I recognized there were many, many women who were afraid and still are. Women, Christian women, women business owners, introverts, whatever it might be. There are still a number of people that are afraid to show up and share their message, especially going on camera or going live. And so live video being my passion and being good at fostering relationships through live stream, I wanted to bring together a group of women around live streaming and community and celebrating women for their worth. And so I created this weekly live show that I did, but every week I would go live for just about 10 minutes on a Wednesday, same time, same place. And I would give a shout out to a woman in the community who stood out to me. And I gave a bit of a backstory to Women of Worth, like what I'm doing with you now. And that grew. It grew my live stream community. So on the forefront, the outer side, it grew my community. And I'll tell you some of the things that I actually included that will be of help to you in building your communities, really building community. But also it helps me to build my private community. And we got recognized and followed by L'Oreal. And for 2 years, I grew that community from nothing to 5,000+ women. In addition to that, there were 7 Women of Worth leaders. We had meetups in London, meetups in the US. There were WOWs, Women of Worth, WOWs as we called them, that were meeting in different countries, posting their pictures and videos. And it was just a whole thing. That was the heart of community. And there were things that I did that made it successful, that made it grow. Now, we know with social media and things changing, especially in terms of Facebook groups, it's not as easy to start, for example, a Facebook group and have full visibility and an active community because notifications, algorithms, all these different things. However, the actual foundations are still the same in order to be able to build community. And like I said, if you can think of anyone that comes to mind for you who is a great example of a community builder, please put it into the chat and please put it into the comments. So we will get into that. I will share with you my examples, but I just wanted to give you some context to how I actually am able to speak on today's topic, because like I said, for years I've been doing this. I've run multiple Facebook communities. I've run communities off of Facebook as well as on Facebook, private communities. And whatever the size of the communities have been, they have been thriving, they have been active, and they have come together with a common interest. And so I want to help you as a content creator, but particularly those of you that are business owners. You're going live, you're being you're being present, or you're exploring how to really diversify your community, this is going to help you to be able to do just that. Now, before I get started, you guys know I like to give you a visual. Question of the day is, do you have an audience or do you have a community? And I want to ask you, do you think you currently have a community? Or if you are challenged with that, do let me know. Let's troubleshoot this, because that's what I'm here for. So we're going to get into it today. I'm going to share with you some of the key points, some of the things that I think that you should be considering in terms of community, and what actually is the foundation for thriving, engaged community. So the first point is this. In order to do so, you need to create a dedicated community space for conversations. Now, conversations are the key to everything. This is why I'm very passionate about live stream. And if you're watching this, you will, to some degree, feel exactly the same way. Because a lot of the ways that we are, the narratives around creating content, is a one-way directed. Right? We have an idea. You like the visual. We have an idea about something. We want to share it, or we want to promote something, or we want to talk about our message. Of course, that's right. That's foundational. Very handy today. But at the same time, it's still one way. It doesn't matter if people can post in the comments. Yes, that has its place as well. But how are you, especially if you're not inviting through your content, your audience into the conversation, how is it a two-way dialogue? Because community is based on relationships, and relationships are two-way. So you need to think about how you are going to create a space for people to be able to talk, for people to have connections. So I want you to think about, well, okay, what could I do? That could look like what I mentioned, having and hosting a Facebook group. But again, if you're thinking about distractions and notifications and all of the other moving parts that make it difficult for your content to reach your community, and I have a business friend who's going through this right now with Facebook, just her content is not reaching. You could do that, or there are other alternatives. So you could look at hosting your own community on external platforms like Circle, Mighty Networks, or perhaps you could have something like Discord, or you could have a WhatsApp or Slack channel, whatever it will be. It's somewhere where you have a separate space to be able to create conversations. Hello, Rafia. Welcome to today's live stream. I hope you are doing well. Thank you very much for joining. Rafia was part of Women of Worth and has been around for a while, so Rafia will know what I'm talking about. But I hope this is making sense to you in terms of the community side of creating a space. Because when you're creating a space, you're taking your community, you're saying, right, let's have conversations. Let's go and mastermind together. I hope that is making sense of what I'm saying. So that's the first thing that I want to say to you. So create a space. So I want you to think about where and how you can do just that. The second thing is you want to create solution-focused events for your community. So when I'm talking about solution-focused events, what do you think I may actually be talking about? Well, I'll give you an example. So when I used to run my community, Women of Worth, I created something that was an event called Pass the Cast. So again, when it comes to creating solution-focused events, it could be workshops, it could be webinars, it could be something that is exclusive to that specific community where you're creating opportunities for them, right? So for me, I created something called Pass the Cast. I won't get into the details of what Pass the Cast was blow by blow, but essentially it was a weekly themed event for my community where up to 5 women could sign up to be on this live show for 1 hour, and they would go live. It was twofold. I had one specifically for the community to build their confidence to go live, be on camera, which the undercurrent message was my area of expertise, right? And then there was another option where on another day, a group of 5 women could go live and they would be able to talk about their business. So it's promote your business, Pass the Cast. And then there was one that was the general one. And so the whole point is that the women would come together, they would sign up, 5 women, go live, talk on a specific topic, pass it on to the next person. And the whole purpose was get confident, start going live consistently, being confident to talk on camera, sharing a bit about yourself so you're being more visible, and having the community support around it. And of course, it was popular every single week. People were signing up for it. They were literally biting my hand off to be a part of it. That was a specific community-based event. So I want you to think about how you can create something for your community. And it may not be something like that. That obviously is related to what I do, being a live stream expert, but you could think about something that you could do, right? There were lots of other things that I did in the community, but that was just one such example. The next thing I want you to think about is having a dedicated live show centered on the community, right? Having something that is specific for your community. And so I'm going to use example of somebody who I think does this extremely well. There are a number of different people, but you know I'm going to give the example of my mentor, Nick Niven. Absolutely fantastic. He goes live, and I'm going to give you another example because some of you are going to be like, you know, like Nick Niven all the time. Have you not got anybody else? Listen. I have to talk about people who are inspiring me to greatness, right? You have to give credit where credit is due. But I know Kashini and a couple of other people that I hear on the live have been a part of Nick's weekly live every Saturday. Without fail, same time, same place, YouTube, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for 2 to 3 hours. Nick is live and he is sharing tips, advice, and answering questions on how content creators can grow their YouTube channels. And the way that the show is structured, you can tell that it is focused on building community because you're seeing the same people that are there every single week. People are hanging out in the live stream for the whole time. Why? Because there is value there, valuable information. There is a space for people to be seen and heard. They are able to get their questions answered. And Nick has a very formal, great way that has inspired me to as well. But the point is that you feel like you're a part of something. And off the back of that, there are also people that are part of his Niminati. So it's a separate membership, exclusive membership space, which is low ticket that people can sign up for. And they have a badge against their name. And then there are exclusive things that he does for the community specifically. Now, one of the things that I want to say is that when it comes to building community, you are not the person that is always doing the talking. Whilst you are the person who may create this community space based on the typical topical theme, you are not the person, and you should not be the person who is always talking and is always the one leading. So for example, in my community, WOW, Women of Worth, I had 7 Women of Worth leaders who were responsible for doing different things. And sometimes those leaders led with Pass the Cast or some of the other things. We had Feature Friday and all these different things. But they had their own area that they were managing and that they had their own community within the community. And that's exactly how it is. So Kashini has used the example of Dee Nimin and Daniel Bottal, who have the StreamYard show. Yes, so that's Channel Reviews, which is the second Saturday of every month. I believe that they're having that this coming Saturday. But do you get my point? Like how you can really start to think, okay, wait a minute. I don't just want to have subscribers. I don't want to just have followers. I want to have an actual active, thriving community. What can I actually do? And some people will create, for example, broadcast channels on Instagram. But again, I think that that's one way of speaking because people they can consume the information, but they can't give their feedback in that broadcast channel. But there are ways that you can actually use that to still build community. But I want you to start thinking about how you can actually take these points that I'm giving you and do something with the people who have told you, whether they are actively commenting at the moment, but they've given a signal that they want to be a part of your collective by subscribing, by coming to your live streams, by commenting, by sharing your content. So what can you do to really foster a thriving and engaged community? The next point is use gamification to boost community interaction and engagement, which leads on to the point that Kashini just made a moment ago, where she gave the example of Daniel and also Dee with their channel review show. So this is something that you can see there is a really, really great example where they are gamifying the community. And what they're doing is that they have the game show style where it's random picking. So they're using StreamYard's tool to be able to randomly select people, which is great. There are lots of different things you can use, and they're randomly selecting people. So people are piling into the live. They want to be selected, so they're using the keywords, so they're engaging. So that's helping, right, bolster the algorithm, the relevancy of the content, right? So the longer people are interactive and hanging out, the better the content is going to perform naturally. And what do? They randomly pick somebody, and they then pick a specific area of their channel based on the random selection, and then they do reviews. So they're demonstrating their authority, their expertise, whilst helping the community. Hello, Susan. Good evening to you. Nice to see you. Thank you very much for joining. Not a problem at all. Thank you so much for being here. Guys, don't forget, as you come in to the live, don't forget to give this a thumbs up if you are enjoying this, and also don't forget to share this with some other people. It is good to see you all here with me today, talking about how to turn your audience into a thriving and engaged community. And so far, we've shared a number of different points. Susan, you missed where I was talking about Women of Worth. You were part of Women of Worth, so you can vouch for that. Remember the little heart that we used to use as well? We had a specific emoji, a heart, that we always used for wow. And it was just absolutely, it was amazing. It was an amazing time. And I loved wow. So yes, going back to what I was saying, it's very strategic, it's very clever, and it works very well. Gamifying the community, because not only do you get highlighted to the community, you also have the opportunity to have your channel reviewed, which is value. And if you win, right, you then get some merchandise as well. So if you have products and so forth, this is great, right? So there's all these different things. I hope this is making sense here. I hope you're picking up what I'm spreading today. So the next thing is that you want to create opportunity for communities to be spotlighted or to be featured. So I mentioned a moment ago that I used to, within my communities, I would do something called Feature Friday. Now, spotlighting your community could be, you could do hot seat coaching as well. This works really well. Or if you want to use, for example, the social media tools to help you get more visibility and bring that to your community as well, you could, for example, again, use Instagram or any of the platforms where you can go live collaboratively. But think about how you can blend the featuring of the community as well as demonstrating your area of expertise. And so I used to have something that was called Feature Friday. Again, that was connected to the ethos of Women of Worth. Finding somebody in the community who was the most active, who participated, who supported. So it was under the theme of us as Women of Worth. But also, again, as a Feature Friday host, you got to take over for the day, go live, share your products, share your services, share posts, take people on a journey. And I remember one such member, she did a series throughout the day of going live. And obviously people felt safe because it was in a private community. But she did a series where she took people on a journey throughout the day, from her childhood right up until her childhood home, where she used to live, how she started her business, and she took us on a journey. And it was really powerful, the storytelling. And it kept people captivated and invested. So these are some of the things that I want you to think about when it comes to really fostering community. It is about empowering people to take action. Hello, Miss Eileen. Thank you very much for joining. How are you? It is good to see you. Thank you very much for joining today's live. I hope you are doing well. So, Miss Eileen, community building, I want to ask you a question. And Susan and everyone else that's jumped in, because I see the numbers are going up. Who stands out to you, or who can you give as an example or share in the chat as an example of somebody who you think is a great community builder? And Kashini mentioned earlier on today that as an example, I think she mentioned, was it Nick earlier on you mentioned? But Kashini has shared. So I would love to hear your thoughts on this. So I want to ask you the question of the day. Question of the day today is, what does the word community mean to you? Please do share it in the comments, what you think it means. And obviously throughout this live stream today, I've been sharing with you 5 different ways that you can turn your audience into an actual active, thriving, and engaged community that, whether it's 5 people, 50 people, 500 or 5 million people, you can develop the kind of community that is going to set yourself apart. It's going to empower those people that you're reaching and have that ripple effect. And I think that the best way to move yourself forward, to move ourselves forward, is to be and to grow, is to focus on those whom we are serving by building community. I think I was watching a video last week, a live stream actually, because the community builders, the best community builders, know you got to go live. This is the way you can do it. I was watching Pat Flynn, and he was talking about how he has been able to build his whole entire business model around building community. And he did a whole live stream on community. And he talked about some of the things that I've shared today. So it's powerful. It is powerful. And it will help you as a business owner to grow, build your authority, get that visibility, and also as a business owner, because we want to make sales, it will help you to do that. Miss Eileen has said, my friend Michael Daniels has a great community called Tinkering with Tech. And that's it. I can already tell by that title that that is connected to a specific, his area of expertise, right, Miss Eileen? And also there's a created common interest with that community. And I know that already because I know, Miss Eileen, that you are very, very passionate about tech, because a lot of what you talk about is live stream tech, is actually, you know, you're into your tech. So that's the whole point. It's about saying, okay, how can I use these examples? How can I look at what people are doing who are doing community very, very well? And we don't ever copy people. We don't ever do that. But we take inspiration and we think about how we can make it our own. So today, I want you to think about the points that I've actually made in terms of building community, and allow yourself to think about this question again. Am I building an audience or am I building a community? And from today onwards, I want you to focus on the second word, community, and how you can do that well. So I want to ask you today, what has been your biggest takeaway from today's live stream on today's topic, where we have been talking about how to turn your audience into a thriving community? And whether you are live or whether you're on the replay, please do ask your questions. No question is silly. I would love to hear from you. And also, if you are now at a stage where you're saying, I want to actively build community, again, I want to remind you that video, live stream is the way for you to deepen connections, build that community, that impactful community that become your super fans. As Pat Flynn's got a book called Super Fans. And also, as a business owner, leading those people, those amazing community members, to places of buying your products and your services. But if you are stuck, you're at that place and you're stuck, I want to invite you to the opportunity to book yourself a one-to-one strategy coaching session. My strategy coaching sessions are laser focused. They're 90 minutes. And within that, you're going to have clarity, have a strategy specifically to one focus that you want to. So whether it's community building, live streaming, how to market yourself, whatever it is, to launch a product or service, run your first challenge or webinar, these strategy calls are going to be great. They're currently on offer. So if you take note of the details or check the description below, the link is there where you can find out more about the strategy calls and get yourself booked on. I would love, love, love to support you beyond the moment we're at into 2024 beyond. You know, so I'm trying my best, right? I'm trying my best not to make this about the year, right? I'm not going to make it about the year because I want to be like evergreen content. Do we have any questions today? Please do let me know if you have any questions specifically about anything that I have shared. And thank you very much, Kashidi, and everyone that has joined today. So going back to what I've said, it's time for you now to start really fully embracing this wonderful tool that is live video. And I want you to start thinking about whether it is on YouTube, whether it's on another social media platform where your community are. I want you to start thinking about, how can I start, number one, to build the thriving community? And number two, how can I use live video to build relationships, deepen those connections? I want to encourage you to click on to this video where I give you some key core fundamental tips and things to think about as a business owner before you start going live, the strategy that you need to think about. My friends, it's been amazing hanging out with you today. Absolutely have loved it. And I will be back here, same time, same place, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 7 p.m. UK time next week. I will definitely be here, but definitely check out the community tab because I've been sharing a lot of useful information there as well. Friends, have a great rest of your evening. Thank you for being here, and I will see you next week. Take care.